this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. The end of a very long day. What day is it? Monday. Well, Monday here in the UK. What it is where you are is, by the way. I'm just doing an introduction to this video on the grounds that I didn't do sort of a report on our coach trip on Sunday. It's been deemed a major success, which is always good when you've spent quite a bit of time and put in quite a bit of time and effort organising something. It's great when it just goes smoothly, nothing goes wrong, there's no hiccups, everything just goes the way it should do. That's nice from the personal point of view, but then to get the thank yous and everything, fair enough. But I mean, basically it just all went smoothly. The coach was there early so that people could people that were paying on the day could pay their money, and I could mark them down and say, right, you can go on the coach now, you've paid. You haven't. Nobody gets past me and gets on the coach till they've paid. Lots of people have paid in advance, so it didn't rain, so we didn't need brollies, which the original forecast earlier in the week said that we did, but that didn't happen. Yeah, so the people at the first stop all got on, and we set off. We didn't take, strangely enough, the driver took the route that I would have taken in a car to get from the first pickup to the second pickup. He went exactly the way I would have gone, and no coach driver has ever done that before. They tend to take, they're a bit like taxi drivers, they take the shortest possible route, not necessarily the best route, on the grounds that it saves them money on fuel. So, there's a sort of profit involved there. But anyway, he went the way I would have gone, which is fine in a car. But some of the corners we had to go around, he was sort of going right out across the road and trying to get back in to get the back end round. I'm amazed at people that drive these large, long vehicles, especially with a coach, because the coach has got a strange thing going on because the back wheels are not at the back of the coach. They're quite a long way from the back of the coach, so as you turn, the back end kicks out. Yeah, the only complaint I would have to say that the driver made a right pig's ear of getting into Burnhams, because he decided he was not going to drive in, he was going to back in. And despite good old Arthur insisting that huge big lorries and things like that are coming and going at the nursery day in, day out, and they all drive in and then they stop the road and they back out, and nobody ever has a problem. This guy spent about 15 minutes backing that coach in, and of course everybody's on board. So I wasn't. I was outside going, come on, back a bit, left hand down, like one does. Anyway, we all got into the nursery. We were early. The expected traffic, it's August and it's a Sunday, holiday changeover, and we're going down into the West Country, holiday territory, touristy stuff. We had a straightforward run. I was well pleased. No hold-ups at all on the way. We did get a few on the way back, but nothing major. So we all got there, we piled in. Because we were early, lunch wasn't effectively ready. But Sarah said, are you okay if you have lunch at 1 o'clock? I said, quite honestly, it will get people in the door, start them looking round, they'll spread out all over the flipping place, and we'll have a job to herd them back in for where the lunch is. But we managed. I was chatting away to our president. And he just, suddenly he stopped dead and he went, there's people eating. And we're not. we were quite a long way away, and we hadn't heard the gong. We hadn't heard the dinner bell. Not that there was one, but yeah. So we sort of went in, and there was more than enough food. Sarah did us proud. We had a really good lunch, and the caterers, the guys in the sorting out our food and drinks and everything, they came out and kept saying, "Do you want some more? Have you had enough?" Which is brilliant, because normally that's your lot. You're not getting any more unless you pay for it, sort of thing. I was well chuffed with the fact that they topped things up. Until people had actually finished and walked away, there was still food. So well pleased with that. Personally, I had a cup of coffee before I left here, one, singular. I had a cup of coffee with my lunch, and that was all the coffee I had all day. And I didn't have anything else to drink till I got home here, and boy did I drink when I got home. Very dehydrated. Anyway, so we had a great time. And there's a great photo on Burnham's Nursery. I think it's probably on their Facebook page. It might be on their web page as well. But it's a picture of a group of us standing next to the coach with the hold open, you know, the flaps that come up at the side, you know, landing gear down, flaps up and all that, with all the boxes with all the orchids in. Sarah, when she saw it collectively all together on the coach like that, she was well chuffed. So obviously we spent quite a bit of money between us. Some of us didn't spend very much. Some of us bought one plant and felt a little bit sheepish as a consequence. Anyway, I think a good time was had by all. I've had quite a few thank you emails, and it sort of makes the effort worthwhile. So I was well pleased. We had a bit of a slower journey back. We did get a few hold-ups around Dorchester, but that's typical. It's the time of year. There's just large volumes of traffic. And if you're a stranger on a road, this annoys me. You come up to a roundabout, and because you're a stranger and you haven't driven that round that roundabout before, it's, oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? It's a roundabout. It's the same as every other roundabout you've ever driven round. You give way to the right, and if there's nothing coming, you go. You don't sit there going, what do I do now? What do I do now? Anyway, there was one particular roundabout where there was lots of people going, what do I do now? You just go. But the thing is, if you're local, you know that the volume of traffic coming towards you is going to go that way, not come round in front of you. And the number of cars coming round in front of you is so limited that you could almost shut your eyes and go anyway. But if you're not local, you don't know these sorts of things. So we all had a good time. I have got lots of very small clips to put together. I decided in the end not to do too many walks around the nursery filming green stuff. Although there are some shots of some, you know, looking at the nursery sort of thing. But I decided to sort of concentrate more on the blooms. So you've got blooms in the sales area, you know, the Phalaenopsis and the intergeneric Oncidium types, that sort of thing, with a few that surprised me that they were out in the sales area, I must admit, rather than in the nursery. And then I had a walk around the private area, and I escorted our youngest member. We have a youngster, like 10 or 11, something like that, who is actually a member, the only one that's less than about 50, I think. And I was in the private area. I'd filmed about half of it like that, and the door into the nursery, as opposed to the door, the entrance I came in, was actually open. The chain was across, no admittance, staff only, and they were just standing there, and I said, do you want to come in and have a look round here? And of course her mum said, well, we're not supposed to be in there. I said, yeah, but I am, and you can come in because I said so. So I showed them round the private area, so they had their own little tour, which I like that sort of thing. When you get somebody that young interested in orchids, you need to promote it. We all do. As adults, we need to help people understand and get to grips with the whole hobby thing, you know, so that it takes over your life, empties your wallet and gives you no free time whatsoever. Yeah. Ask her mum. Anyway, so a couple of people had a look round with me, and you know, had a look around the private area. In the private area, I only filmed the blooms. Literally, I didn't look round. We've had a look round in that area before now. So what I'll do now is I'll put the clips together, and they're not in any order. They're just strung together in the sequence I filmed them, which is a bit hit and miss because I was stopping to sort of, people were asking me, you know, given that I grow in the home, can I grow this? And I'm going, what? So you've got to walk to where they found something that they think they might like and have a talk about it, and then you get caught as you're on your way back by somebody else who wants to chat about something. And I like all that, you know, that I don't find that a hindrance. Some find it annoying when they get collared like that. I think it's all part of the day out. So I'll put the clips together and I will talk over them. I won't know all the plant names. I might not even know the genera in question, but I'll talk it through as I saw it, you know, like as though I was talking out loud while I was filming. And if I feel like it, I might put some background music on. Now, some complain when people do that because they can't concentrate on the words. Well, if I do that, which I haven't made my mind up yet, I will try and keep the music at such a low level that it can't be annoying. But it just gives me an opportunity to stop talking sometimes because there's still something going on. You see what I mean? You know, so. Anyway, this, by the time I put it together, it's already late in the day. I've done all my watering. I've done all my other stuff. I need to get some food soon as well. So I'll put the clips together. I'll narrate through talking about what I saw in the order I saw it in. And it'll probably, by the time I put it together, I won't finish it today, so it'll probably get posted tomorrow, which is Tuesday, UK. Something like that, yeah? And then we'll go from there. So thanks for listening to the waffle, but the annual coach trip is quite a big event for our Orchid Society. Now, next year we've got a treat. 2 little events came together. Our orchid trip last year was cancelled. We were going to go to the RHS Wisley gardens and glasshouses, basically, which is a smashing day out. Not too far, journey's not too long. So people were looking forward to that. Of course, we got cancelled because we all got locked down. But next year, I said, right, well, that's it. We're going to Wisley. That's the coach trip sorted. No thinking involved. But during during Sunday, yesterday, the chairman came up and he said, oh, by the way, were you thinking of going to Wisley next year? I said, well, yeah, I think we can get the coach trip back into April where we normally have it. And lots of people were looking forward to Wisley, and a lot of people like to go to Wisley because it's not a long journey. And they just like the idea that you've got the glass houses, you've got some orchids, but you've got the gardens. You know, and the gardens are spectacular with the waterfalls, the water gardens, the woodland areas. It's a smashing place to be. Therefore, there's something for everything. He said, yeah, but, you know the London show, which is normally in Westminster Halls, and I've said I'm not taking a coach into central London ever again, because it takes 3 flipping hours plus to get there, sitting in traffic, looking at traffic. It's not a nice journey into London. And that was for the RHS show in London. And previous years we've gone, and slowly but surely that show has got worse and worse to the point where it's hardly worth going. And then you add the fact that it's in central London, it's definitely not worth going. But apparently the London show is moving to Wisley at the end of March. I can't give you a date, but a note for your diary, RHS Wisley's London show is probably moving to Wisley for the end of March. So we will move our coach trip from April to the end of March and combine a trip to Wisley with the London show, the RHS Orchid show. Job done. That might turn out to be the best coach trip we've ever had. Just things coming together. Now, I didn't know the London show was moving to Wisley. I haven't seen any notifications of that. So if I hadn't been talking to that person at that point in time, I still might not have found out. But anyway, so that'll be next year. So here we go with the clips. Lots of blooms. I won't know what they all are, so don't ask. And I'll talk it through as I see it. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by. Oh my, I'm going to try and do this in one take. Outside of the area where we had lunch, there's this group of Dendrobium nobile types. Interesting, some good bloomings there. a good little batch of plants. But I don't remember seeing this one before. That dark centre, that did catch my eye. I didn't buy one, but it caught my eye. And then just along from there was a table full of Kingianums. They're probably Berriodas actually, but Kingianum types we'll call them. There's a good area of fragrance around this table, very nice. A lot of people gathered round. Burnhams do have a few mounts dotted around, not many. That caught my eye, nice bowl of phyllum. On a mount, so you can buy some mounted ones there. I believe that might be the same one, but a lot more flowers. This is one of the few walkthroughs I did as far as the nursery is concerned. I did try and concentrate on the blooms, but you know, this is an area with some lots of greenery and some nice plants in bloom. That one, the only one, but it caught my eye. And then we've got the Miltonia Sunset. Everybody loves these. Quite a few of those dotted around. And some other bits mixed in, which I wasn't quite sure what they actually were. But that caught my eye. What a specimen. Can you imagine trying to lift that and take it to a show? Not for me, anyway. This area was mainly Brassica type hybrids, so you know, you might recognise some of these. I think somewhere in there was a Shelob Tolkien. Yeah, that was it. So yeah, some Brassica type hybrids, lots of, and then you always have to look up when you're at Burnham's, and don't forget to look up. Lots of radiatas in bloom, in huge hanging baskets, and luckily Arthur hadn't watered them this time, so they weren't dripping all over me. The fragrance was powerful, but that was pretty good. This caught my eye, a very long pendulous spike of attractive blooms. I haven't got a clue what they are, probably a Coelogene or a Maxillaria. Dendrochilums, not my thing, but some people love them. Tiny little blooms, and many of them, but they don't appeal to me. It takes all sorts, as they say. That's the Zygopetalum I came home with last time round, with the sort of bluey, purpley blooms on. Just a long shot, just to get the impression, for those who haven't seen it before, of the actual length of those glass houses. This was in the cooler area. Lots of Coelogenes in bloom, and like an idiot I didn't look up what sort they were. I can pretty much say they weren't cristatas. And then this is the discounted sales area. This is where plants are taken that have had their prices reduced because they've been in bloom a while and they haven't sold, so the blooms are not going to last as long as they would normally do when they're freshly sort of brought in. But it's mainly Phalaenopsis types, but in amongst them there's the odd Dendrobium nobile and various other things. Not too many Paphs and Frags out in bloom this time round, but that one was, and that had been tied to the roof to hold it upright, which I thought was novel. Now I used to have this. This is a Prosthetia something, and I used to have this one. Back-to-back blooms, always in pairs, back-to-back. Quite unique in the orchid world. That looks like a Reginellii, Miltonia. Might not be, but it looks like it. Just the one bloom hanging in a sea of green. That happens a lot in a nursery. You know, it's just the way it goes. And as you can see, this sea of green, but look at that. If you forget to look up, you miss things like that. And our youngster spotted that. Our youngest member spotted that one. Very, very fragrant. I presume it's a Gongora or something like that, or Stanhopea. One of those two sorts of things. Now, why am I pointing the camera at the floor? Because these pendulous spikes have grown so long they're actually on the floor. Type of Coelogene, no doubt. I don't know which one. But attractive colours, browns and creams, unusual set. and a few more Coelogenes. It's probably one of the largest varieties of Coelogenes for sale in any one place at Burnham's. They do have a lot of different types, along with Restrepias. Where are we now? Ooh, come on, concentrate. We're in the sales area now, so this is the bought-in plants for sale in that initial area that you come to, and it's a mixture. They did have some really nice Miltoniopsis. I really had to keep my hands in my pockets, because you know me, I don't look at the blooms, I look at the plant, and if it's a good plant then I look up at the blooms. But if I'm going to move house, I need to go careful what I buy in. But some of these Miltoniopsis were absolutely stunning, patterning and depths of colour. They were just really good. It was a good display. Some of the plants weren't so hot, like that one, but look at the blooms. If you can get that one going and get it to grow a decent root system and do well in your environment, you get that again, those blooms. Yeah, they had a good display of Miltoniopsis, which is unusual, because a lot of the mass producers, they don't bother with these because they're difficult. I mean, the colour on that is absolutely gorgeous. A Shari baby with a spike probably about 1.5 meters long, arched right over, stunning. Looks like it's dancing lady type, probably sweet sugar, something like that. Nice odontoglossum type, good deep yellow there with red markings. That was attractive, and I did keep my hands in my pockets. Long branching spikes there, yeah, and again another odontoglossum type. This one caught my eye, but it was facing the wrong way. I had to turn it around myself to actually get it to face the audience, so to speak. But really, really rich dark red colour there, heading towards black. So if you like that colour combination, that was a nice one. A little smattering of Nellie Islas, that looks like the ordinary type. And they had a lot of these, what are they called? Gilded Tower Mystic Maze. They had quite a lot of these for sale. They are attractive, but I just could not grow mine. I ended up getting rid of it. Hopefully whoever's got it has got it to grow. This caught my eye. I didn't buy it, but that was an attractive Phalaenopsis, that sort of peachy colour. We're back in the sales area again now, so it's mainly Phalaenopsis, but not only Phalaenopsis. You do get some oddities. I don't even know what that is, but that was pretty. Let's say, and I'm not sure what that is either. This little area had some odd things that I didn't actually recognise, so things I hadn't come across. That's Elizabeth Ann Buckleberry. You can spot that a mile off. Another Dendrochilum. For those, that was quite a large bloom. It looks like another Prosthetia type of some sort. And then round here we had some Phalaenopsis types. I'm not sure they were actually Phalaenopsis, but tiny little blooms, but many of them. A lot of the spikes were dropping their blooms, so they weren't at their best by any means, but good enough if you like that sort of thing. Prosthetia in this corner, and then coming around to more Phalaenopsis, again in the sales area. The variety it just goes on and on, but they do have quite a lot of one individual sort, which makes like a mass, lots all together. A few more Dendrobium nobile types, and they had quite a few Phalaenopsis type Dendrobiums, and I didn't film them. When I went back to film them, they'd nearly all been bought, so they were all gone. But there were still a few hanging on. But yeah, they sold nearly all of their Dendrobium Phalaenopsis types. Some more sweet sugar types, and another Oncidium type intergeneric of some sort.
Yeah, you can see the gaps on the benches where people have raided them and actually taken the plants away, because these benches were all full when we got there. And this, I'm now in the private area, this I just could not walk away from. A Renanthera, but possibly a cross, because looking at the plants, it didn't look like your normal Renanthera, but what a set of blooms. Stunning. So we're in the private area now, so there's no people walking about, only me. And this is just picking on blooms as I walked through. And a lot of what's in here, I just don't know what it is. That's a Brassia. What sort, I'm not sure of. But yeah, I mean, it's just every now and again there's a bloom. I mean, that's an epidendrum type, radicans type, single bloom on the plant. So we just wander along looking for things, and we spot things up in the undergrowth, and sometimes I have to zoom in because I'm short and I'm not tall enough. I haven't got a clue what that is, but it's gorgeous. Green and orange combination. Quite stunning. And again, brassias hanging over your head, and luckily not dripping all over me this time round. This caught my eye. Now that has a tag of a cattleya, but that's a Laelia. That is absolutely stunning. The richest of oranges. Beautiful bloom. And I forgot to check the actual name. But that once was a Laelia, it's now a Cattleya, according to the tag. Again, little things lurking in the undergrowth. I don't know what these are. I haven't got a clue. And if I have to zoom in on plants, they often don't focus. That's just the way the camera works. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what that is. I haven't got a clue. You can't possibly know it, all the orchids just by sight, or I can't anyway. Anyway, strolling along, and in the distance is the end of this particular aisle, which is where I picked up the our youngest member and her mum to walk round the other side of this central aisle. This really is attractive. So they followed me round once I got to the end of this section, and then we came back up this section for them to see, because obviously they hadn't seen it before. Nice dendrobium. I can't remember what sort it was, probably formosum. Not infundibulum, because I've got that. Infundibulum, sorry, whoever's going to catch me out on that. And this was the Prosthetia section. Quite a few in bloom here. Look at that one. I have never seen that. And the fact that it's in this section, that is a Prosthetia. But I've never seen that bloom before. If that wasn't in the private area, that would have gone straight in the basket. Anyway, lots of plants. There's another one of those that blooms back to back. Pairs back to back, that's how they bloom. No difference. Nothing ever changes. That's how they are. Another little one that I didn't recognise. Again, a Prosthetia, but I didn't recognise it. And then up in this section are Draculas. And it's very difficult to film in this area because it's dark. That was a Vampira. Not quite open. Vampira? Not open yet, which was a flipping pity, because that would have been quite spectacular. That was attractive. I don't know what that is. Looks nice though. Always look up when you're at Burnhams. Look up in the air. There's stuff up there that you'll miss otherwise. Again, I'm not sure what that is. And this was stunning. A really unusual shape, and I haven't got a clue what that is, but it's gorgeous. Looking at the canes, that looks like a type of dendrobium. Good, nice orange colour there on a plant that I didn't recognise at all. That looks like a maxillaria of some sort, but can't guarantee it. Good, lovely colour again. Oncidium type, not necessarily an oncidium, but that could actually be an oncidium species. Which there could be that sort of thing in this area. Once you get into the private area, there's some quite rare. There's some rare stuff in here, basically. Brassia hanging out in the walkway. Had to duck past that. But yes, there are large areas of green in this area. That's just the way it is, because there's lots of plants that are stock plants, specimen plants and stock plants used in the breeding program. Now I haven't got a clue why the camera's paused on this. I got a feeling I was chatting and forgot that I'd left the film button on, because I'm just looking at nothing in particular here. Oh dear, I do get distracted sometimes. And we're on the move again. Yeah, so there are some shots, some long shots. This is the sort of cooler Masdevallia and Restrepia area. That attracted me a lot, and so did that, but I don't know what either of them are. Oncidium types, I would say, but no guarantees. And then again, you look up and you find things hanging off of baskets that I haven't got a clue what that is, but that was such an unusual shaped bloom. And then back to the Dracula area to finally finish up, and there were a few actually open in bloom. Difficult to film because you have to point the camera at the sky, and therefore you end up with silhouettes. There we go, that's it.